Welcome to the Oneness of Black podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Pike, and I'm sitting today with the amazing, lovely, fantastic Dr. McCrae. And she's an entrepreneur in the in Metro Atlanta area. So welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, Dr. Pike. I truly appreciate it.
So lovely to have you, and thank you so much for joining us. And
My
as you
pleasure.
know, audience, this is a platform where we have meaningful discussions surrounding our culture, unity, and healing. And so today we have the opportunity to sit and speak with Dr. Erica, and she's going to share her cultural experiences and just a little bit about herself and where she is, what she's doing currently within our community, and we'll take it from there. So, Dr. Erica, let's go ahead and start with you telling us just a little bit about your cultural experiences growing up, um, and then we'll take our conversation from there.
Sounds good. So, I am the oldest of two. So, my brother is 2 years younger than me. We grew up in the home with our mom and our dad up until I went to high school. That's when my mom and my dad got a divorce.
Mhm.
And I remember at that point really shaped where I am now. I remember my dad sitting down with me and my brother and saying, "Hey, this has nothing to do with you all, and I want you guys to do your very best." And I remember just looking at the sky, and I was like, "You know what? From this point forward, it's me. I have to make something of myself. I'm
Mhm.
not going to let anything, including this,
Mhm.
deter me from reaching my destiny." And that's been the traction that I've had in my entire life. So I started
Wow.
working when I was 15,
Mhm.
ninth grade.
Wow.
So
Wow.
I've
Okay.
been working ever since I was 15. I haven't stopped, and now being an entrepreneur and seeing where I started at McDonald's.
Mhm.
Um
Right. We
went
all did. I know
Yes.
I started when I was in high school. That was my first job
Yes,
too.
that
So
that
yes.
was my first job. They
Mhm.
wanted me to be a team lead. I decided not to do that. Ended up going to undergrad. I worked for Walmart throughout undergrad. As soon as I was done there, I went into a leadership development program for AT&T, and T,
Mhm.
and I was there for almost 14 plus years. I went
Wow.
on the Cricket side, which is a subsidiary of
Uh-huh.
AT&T. Then I started this journey as being an entrepreneur and opening up a
Wow.
home care agency. So, yeah, 5 degrees and all of that.
Right.
So just that moment of
Mhm.
me knowing, hey, this is what it is. A lot
Mhm.
of Black families go through divorce
Yes.
and
Mhm.
remarrying and all of those
Mhm.
different things. But I just made a vow to myself
Mhm.
that this won't define me,
Yes. Mhm.
and I'm going to be the best version of me that I can be. So
Wow.
that has literally carried me to this moment.
Wow. That's amazing for you to say that. I know many times we always have those crossroads
Mm-hmm.
where we have to make the decision. What are we going to do moving
Yes,
forward when we're faced with with challenging times and
absolutely.
diversities? And and we've seen that throughout the years with many different cultures, and sometimes depending on I guess your cultural experiences sometimes help to kind of shape your decision that you'll make.
Absolutely.
And so I'm happy that you chose the path of pushing forward and fighting through.
Yeah,
um I know for me, I always had the thought in my mind that education is something no one could take away from me.
absolutely.
So I was like, you know what, regardless of what's happening in my surroundings in my life, I'm going to push forward with getting my education, because
Absolutely.
once I get it, no one could take it from me. I earned it.
Absolutely.
So yes, I'm happy that you decided to push through, and 5 degrees later.
5 degrees later. So the interesting thing about that, so my doctorate degree,
Mhm,
I never wanted a doctorate degree.
mhm,
My mom was like, "No, you need to keep going." I'm like, "No." And there was a guy when I was a store manager in Tallahassee,
mhm.
came to my store and was like, "Just take it one day at a time. Like it's a 2 or 3 year program. Like you can do this." In that one conversation, I was like, "Okay," because I thought to myself, similar to you,
Mhm,
no one can take this from me,
mhm.
and it's the highest degree that I
Yes.
could get. So why not go all the way?
Right.
And I
Yeah.
thought that I was going to stop there.
Mhm.
And yesterday I actually saw pictures. I attended Columbia Theological Seminary and graduated last
Oh
year
wow.
from there, and they're
Mhm,
getting ready to do their next graduation in May, and they
mhm,
actually use my pictures on the website. So it was just just surreal
mhm.
that I went and then
Did
did
something
seminary.
else?
So, but I
Yes.
am done. 5 degrees is enough. But
Right.
yes, you are absolutely right. And I just wanted to be an example to my
Yeah.
children as far as how far they can go.
Yeah.
My husband has 4 degrees, and he has a doctorate degree in
Yeah.
ministry,
Hmm.
but he's also back in school to get a PhD. So
Yeah.
he will have 5 degrees as well. So my kids have no excuses
Right.
as it relates to
They
education.
have good examples, and that's the key, providing those good examples,
Absolutely.
for our children, our parents and the people before us.
Absolutely.
They worked hard,
Oh
and
yeah.
they may not have had opportunity to go to school to do the things that we're
Exactly.
doing today. And so if we have that opportunity, why not do it?
Absolutely.
Yes. So thank you
Absolutely.
for that.
You're
Oh, wow. That
welcome.
is so amazing. Okay. So we're going to talk just a little bit about, I know we talked about like your upbringing and
Yes.
everything, and how that shaped you today. And now you're an entrepreneur. So, talk to us just a little bit about any biases. I know being a Black woman
Oh
in
yeah.
this world
Oh yeah.
today, probably have presented itself with some biases.
It
It,
did.
it could be unconscious on their part. I don't know. But, let's talk about some of those experiences. And then we could talk about, some of the ways that we can heal.
Yeah. So two of them I would say from my telecommunications background of being with AT&T. So the program that I went into was a leadership development program. So
Mm-hmm.
I went into training for 6 months,
Mm-hmm.
and then outside of that training, they placed me in a store as a store manager.
Okay,
So
gotcha.
imagine me as a 19-year-old
Wow.
going into a 6-month program to be placed in a store as a store manager with all of these diverse backgrounds. So
Wow.
it's funny now, but when I got to my first store,
Mm-hmm.
when I walked in, I had a diverse group of people, but I
Mm-hmm.
also had some people that felt as though that position should be theirs.
Mm.
So I walked in, and they told me after the fact, because they all fell in love with me, I had to walk in and say, "Hey, this is my store.
Right.
You're going to respect me."
Mm-hmm.
So I had a conversation with a couple of the employees when I was transitioning to another store, because then they moved me to Tallahassee. They were like, when you first walked in, I'm like, who is this Black young girl
Mm-hmm.
that's 19 about to run this store? Like,
Right.
so I had to gain their respect.
Mm-hmm.
I had a situation where there was a white guy, and that was one of my employees that felt as though he should have been given the opportunity.
Mm.
So he was trying to sow seeds of discord
Mm.
in the store,
Yeah.
and they weren't buying it. They were like, no, we love her, we respect her,
Mm-hmm.
you're not going to put us on your bandwagon. So I
Mm-hmm.
remember having to go in and have that conversation with him in my office to
Mm-hmm.
say, you don't have to like me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not here for you to like me, but you will respect me.
Right.
So you're either going to respect the position that I have, or you can
Mm-hmm.
transition to another
Right.
store.
Mm-hmm.
This is the position that they assigned to me. I didn't
Right.
come in taking anything from you.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to go
Right.
through that.
Mm-hmm.
Also in the other store as well,
Mm-hmm.
kind of had the same type situation. I love the fact that, because they had some issues going on in that store, and because I was coming in new, the
Mm-hmm.
HR manager took off the responsibility of me having to discipline what was going
Okay.
on, and they
Yeah.
did it from the HR level. So
Okay.
that was great.
Mm-hmm.
And then my third store with AT&T was, I decided to apply for the flagship store in Chicago. So they had a huge store on Michigan Avenue.
Wow.
They needed 5 managers, and I was the only African American that was selected for that
Wow.
store. So that
Mm-hmm.
was very pivotal for me as well. And then before, well, I had already launched the home care business, but I launched the home care business during the pandemic because we
Oh.
were working from home.
Mm-hmm.
Then they required us to go back into the office. So within 2 weeks of me going into the office, I've never had any issues with my managers
Mm-hmm.
or coworkers or anything. And there was a young lady of another race that
Mm-hmm.
decided to kind of pick on me in a sense and feel like she could, talk to me any kind of
Right.
way and all of those different things. And I made it very clear that's not going to happen here. I pulled my manager in, and within 2 weeks, God shifted me off of that job. So I actually got laid off. They had to give me 6 months of my pay,
Oh, wow.
which was amazing because I had
Mm.
just hit that 13-year mark.
Oh,
And that
wow.
you had to be at least 13 years to get
Mm-hmm.
half of your pay. So that was such a blessing. It was literally God kicking me out of the nest.
Mm-hmm.
But it was still, I was the only African American on the team.
Oh,
And
wow.
that got selected to be laid off. So I use it as a momentum
Yeah.
that God was guiding my
Yeah.
steps, but
Mm-hmm.
there was still some bias in the
Yes,
selection
in the
process.
selection process. Wow. So I know we we had a conversation about, like what you're doing right now with your business, and and just some of the experiences that you have had with some of the interactions, within even our own cultural experiences. What is that like? Like, what is, those experiences like for you right now?
Yeah, so just from the home care, I'll give you an example of a conversation that I had with another African American franchise owner in the home care industry.
Mm-hmm.
But before I get there, we do have those times where, and a majority, not that I'm intentionally doing this, because we definitely want as much diversity
Right.
within our
Mm-hmm.
home care agency as possible.
Yeah.
But I do have a lot of African American care professionals,
Okay.
and so we have had a couple of instances where we've had some clients that preferred another race over another, and
Mm-hmm.
I had to kind of let them know, hey,
Mm-hmm.
the service is the service, the excellence is the excellence. So we
Mm-hmm.
don't pick and choose based off of race per se who
Mm-hmm.
we place in the home. Now if it's just something, and then I have to make decisions on whether or not I want to continue
Right.
with them as a client, because
Right.
that doesn't it goes against the principles that
Right.
I believe in.
Mm-hmm.
So
So
we've
what?
had some situations like that.
So would this be? Is this almost like? So you're saying there sometimes could be situations where you have maybe an African American
Going into a
person
mm-hmm.
going into another race,
Yes,
and they don't want that.
absolutely.
Mm,
So they
okay.
will ask, do you have someone that's my race to
Okay.
come in, and I have to redirect that.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting enough, I'm studying for the real estate exam,
Mm-hmm.
and it even talks about that.
Mm-hmm.
If someone says, hey, I want to be in this particular subdivision because
Right.
this race is not
Mm-hmm.
here, you can show them different, but you can
No.
encourage
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
the fact that you don't want to be in this
Yes.
neighborhood because it's a different race. So
Race.
we have
Mm-hmm.
to redirect them, and that's what I do in my home care business.
Mm-hmm.
I hear you, but that's not the principles that we stand on. So maybe we're not the right home care
Right.
agency for you,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm going to put the right person in there based off of your needs,
Mm-hmm.
not their race.
Right.
So I experienced that, and I had an opportunity to interview or just spend time with another African American, younger, amazing. She's doing amazing. She's making over 4 million
Wow.
and has maybe a 2 or 3 territories, but she has less clients than I have. She has very wealthy clients that
Mm-hmm.
have a lot of hours, which is amazing. So I
Mm-hmm.
had an opportunity to speak with her, and one of the things that she mentioned to me is that
Mm-hmm.
she doesn't place herself as the face of the business.
Wow.
No one knows that she's the owner. Even when she goes out to do marketing,
Mm-hmm.
she says that she works for the owner.
Wow.
And I I got it, but it also rubbed me the wrong way,
Yeah.
because if God gave me this business,
Yeah.
then I'm going to steward it, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to shy back
Mm-hmm.
from what He has given me. So I struggle with that
Yeah.
a little bit. I understand,
Mm-hmm.
because we do have situations where
Yeah.
people do not want to do business with us because
Mm-hmm.
of the color of our skin.
Yeah.
But I heard her, but I didn't take that. I didn't adopt that as something that I wanted to do personally for
Mm-hmm.
my business.
Yeah.
So
That's really interesting. And I know too, and I think we also talked about this earlier too, because sometimes even within our own African American culture, sometimes we don't want to do business with our own
oh yeah.
African Americans. The support sometimes is not there, and that's very interesting. Like
Mm-hmm.
we would rather sometimes spend our money with the other, groups,
Absolutely.
and I don't really know why we're not as supportive of each other in that sense, but I know that that does exist.
It does.
Yeah.
And then people want people of our same race want discounts, but you wouldn't ask for a discount at another establishment that
Right.
is, of a different race. So that has been a struggle
Yeah.
as well. And I'm a huge advocate of Black owned businesses.
Yes.
And I give people, now, there are some opportunities, I think, within our community where it stands as far as excellence. Because
Oh
sometimes we
yeah.
do go and,
That's true.
patron, our same race, and then we don't get the same level of excellence.
Excellence. Yeah. That's a good
So that's
point.
something that I always strive, especially in my home care business. If someone is not, and some stuff is inevitable, but in my business,
Yeah.
my business relies on having the right care
Having the
professionals,
right
and
care.
sometimes they don't pan
Yeah.
out and you have to pivot quick.
Yeah.
But the ownership, the
Yeah.
integrity, the follow-up,
Yeah.
all of those different things we're in control of. I
Exactly.
may not be able to control the person that I hired, and I may
Right.
have to fire them, but I can control
Right.
the narrative as far as me taking ownership, making
Yeah.
sure that they have the right person. I had that last week. I ended up having to term 3 people for not showing up for their clients,
Yeah.
but we took ownership.
Right.
And sometimes that's what it is. But we are often in our culture like crabs in a bucket. We
Right.
only want to see someone doing the same thing that we're doing, but the minute they go a little bit above us, now it's a problem.
Yeah. Mm. And then is that when the support stops, or when you
Yes.
start pulling someone down? Is that what that is?
Yes, the support stops. You want to climb over them. Now you can't support them. And then you want to go around and say, well, they did this, they did that, which may not even be true
Yeah.
because they've gotten to a level that, and my thing is, let's grow together.
Yeah.
Let's support each other. The resources that I have, I will gladly give you those
Yeah.
resources. I've
Yeah.
had many people come to me and say, hey, I want to do the same thing that you're doing. Would you mind giving me resources? Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm a franchise. I had to pay a whole bunch of money to get
Right.
those resources. However, I'm willing to share them at no cost because what
Right.
God has for me is for me.
Yeah.
The senior citizen industry is going to forever
Yes.
grow. So why am I trying to stop you
Right.
from doing something? The clients that are assigned to me are the clients that are supposed to be
Right.
assigned to me. So I'm a huge advocate for making sure that I'm giving the information. Right now I'm in a contracting class and I have a entrepreneurs cohort of 7 women, and I said, once I take this class, I'm going to teach you all exactly what I learned.
Right.
So I think if we can learn that,
Yes.
we can learn to support each other in that manner, the sky isn't even the limit to what we can do in our community.
And that's the big thing too. That's why, I'm always a big, advocate for that we're stronger together.
Absolutely.
And and we shouldn't, let different things divide us.
Absolutely.
Because when we work together, we're stronger together. It doesn't matter, our cultural differences or anything like that. So I'm happy that you said that. Yeah, that was really a good moment. So thinking back to just reflecting on what would be some of those opportunities for us to say, okay, I'm stripping ourselves of these biases, or stripping ourselves of these divides, or things that's holding us back from working together to be stronger together. And having those opportunities where we can say, you know what, we can come together. We can really come together and be stronger together and support each other, regardless of what it is that we're doing. So what would be your any suggestions that you may have to say we can probably work better together in these areas, or these are some opportunities that I think we can have, that we can heal and be better together?
Yeah, my thing is, first it starts with mentorship.
I like
Mentorship
that.
is huge. So if there's someone that's doing something, I just said I'm getting ready to um, take my real estate license.
Mm-hmm.
You've probably been in real estate for a long time, so sit at the feet of people and learn. We're
Mm-hmm.
not in competition with each
Right.
other. So I think
Mm-hmm.
that's one thing. The SBA has a mentorship protege program
Mm-hmm.
that I want to be a part of, where you literally learn
Yeah.
from someone that's been doing it for a long time and they're
Yeah.
willing. So I think that's the first thing.
Yeah.
Being willing to learn, and people being willing to pour into others, knowing that they're helping to build our community. Um, The second thing is just we have to change the narrative in our mind
Yeah.
that we are just not in competition.
Right.
There's businesses out there for everybody, and it's
Mm-hmm.
okay if you're doing the same
Yes.
thing.
Right.
And we just have this mentality
Mm-hmm.
that we can't be doing the same thing that someone else is doing, or we
Right.
have to do it better. And sometimes it's not even about doing it better, it's
Yeah.
about the heart in which you do. That's
Mm-hmm.
how you get your clients.
Right.
Everybody, the home care industry is the same pretty much everywhere you go.
Mm-hmm.
What makes you stand apart is how you take care of your people.
Yes. Right.
So it's our we got to have a mentality
Mm-hmm.
shift.
I like that.
And
Mm-hmm.
then just supporting each other. When you look in the Asian community, they pull their money together
Yes.
and say, hey, let's all build this.
Yes.
And we want to, nope, I can't come over here because
Mm.
let's do stuff
Yeah.
together.
Mm-hmm. I love that. I love that because like they'll have a store. Each person have a store a block
Yes,
away.
absolutely. And
Yeah.
they're helping each other. They're pulling resources. If you
Mm-hmm.
don't have this over here, I'll bring it. There is no competition.
Yeah.
It's just wealth,
Mm-hmm.
generational wealth.
Yes.
How do
Mm-hmm.
we get to generational wealth if we just think you can't live life alone?
Yeah. Yeah.
We want to monopolize
Mm-hmm.
everything
Yes. And we
instead
need
of
each other
working.
too.
We
Yeah.
absolutely
Yeah.
need each other.
No
In
man
my
is an island, right?
absolutely
Yeah.
in my contracting course, this is what they're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I have we were able to identify a lady that has been getting federal government contracts since 1997.
Mm-hmm.
She's received over $1 billion in
Wow.
funds from the federal government.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think she did that? She doesn't know everything.
Mm-hmm.
She found someone that did contracting. She
Right.
found someone that did real estate. She
Mm-hmm.
found someone that did advertisement
Right.
and put her team together,
Mm-hmm.
paid them,
Mm-hmm.
got her cut, and now everybody
Everybody.
is wealthy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's the mentality
Teamwork.
we have to
Yeah.
have. So
Right.
I'm already thinking of the people that I'm going to put on my team. I
Mm-hmm.
don't have expertise in
Everything. Right. Mm-hmm.
advertisement. I
Yeah.
don't have expertise in what Rohan
Right.
does. I
Mm-hmm.
don't have expertise in what you do. But if
Mm-hmm.
we all pull
Together.
together,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
the wealth transfer will be
Mm-hmm.
for all of us.
Exactly, exactly. And I think, like you said, I love it. I love the fact mentoring is my thing too.
Mm-hmm.
But I love the mentoring. I love the pulling resources together. I love coming in together and supporting each other. That is some great advice in how we can really heal and move forward, and really be able to support each other, because when if we're working together, when you succeed, I succeed, and when I
Absolutely.
succeed, you succeed. So
Absolutely.
supporting each other, and and not being afraid to see our brother do and sisters do well.
Absolutely.
Yes, I love it. I love
Rejoice with those
it.
who rejoice.
Right, absolutely. So, before we wrap it up and we say our final words, is there anything else that you may want to, any further advice that you may want to give to our audience who's listening? Just in regards to being stronger together, as African American, despite our cultural differences or despite what's going on in the world, there are things that we may not be able to control, but there might be some things that are within our control that we can do so to make
Absolutely.
sure that we're stronger together.
Yeah. With everything that is going on in our culture right now, it is so important to stick together. We are all that we have, and we have to make this life the best life that it can be. So, if you are an entrepreneur or an aspiring entrepreneur, reach out to someone that you know is doing what you want to do and doing it well. Don't feel as though there is a competition, but learn, glean from what they have, the knowledge and the wisdom that they have, and let's support each other. What we saw with Target and them taking the DEI
Mm-hmm.
initiative out and then them losing billions of dollars because we all pulled together. Look at the impact that we can have if we all say, hey, this is the direction that we need to go. And this is what we're going to do to let everybody know that we're here, that we are important, and that our money, our dollars, our
Mm-hmm.
expertise
Right.
is a value. So there's so much that we can do if we pull together and really, really focus on our needs within our community.
Absolutely. Well said. Thank you so much for
You're welcome.
sharing your story with us today.
Thank you for having
And
me.
it is clear that we are stronger together.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you are one person, you can only do so much.
Yeah.
But when we work together, we are
We're
obviously,
unstoppable.
yes, unstoppable.
Mm-hmm.
And we definitely will be stronger together. So thank you, audience, for tuning in to Oneness of Black today. And remember that we are stronger together. We're stronger together.